Hello, welcome to Handmade by Julia Quinn and my spontaneous video sharing with you this lovely card featuring the Night Divine stamp set and the coordinating Night Divine dies. I've had a great time playing and working with these resources, the Night Divine stamp set. And this is a card I did yesterday at a class. And I had a spare kit, so I thought I'd share it with you just before I race off to go and get set up for my retreat day tomorrow. So, I have done all of the die cutting already, so you don't have to watch me do that. And this card at our class, we used watercolour pencils and an aqua painter to blend the watercolour, but for today I'm actually going to just use ink and watercolour that way with you. Alright, now let's get our bits and pieces out. Welcome everyone who's here. It's lovely that you could join me. I'm so grateful. I've got a very vanilla card base, and now I've got my little die cut nativity here. I'll just pop these up here. And I have die cut already some silver stars. These are from the Stars at Night dies, which is the coordinating stamp set and bundle with this bundle. So let me show you the whole thing so you know what I'm talking about. I could have looked up the index. Here it is, the Oh Holy Night Suite. Now at the moment in Australia, this paper's not available, and some of the things are, we have to wait a bit for them to arrive, but this suite has the Night Divine bundle, which is what I'm using today, but it also has the coordinating Stars at Night bundle with the stamp set and dies, and I've used some of the teeny tiny stars with the lovely silver and gold adhesive paper, so they're ready to go there. Okay, and then I've already die cut my stable, and here's my panel for inside. And I've got, this is the fun thing about my project here, because the paper has run out, I tried to think outside the square. So check out the paper I've used. It is the stargazing paper, so not only can you use it for planets and space, but it makes a really beautiful starry background behind the nativity. So there's a way to pivot when you can't always find what you need. So those two sheets there with those planets make really beautiful starry backgrounds for your card. So I can pop that straight on to my card front, ready to go. And I just have a feeling I might need a bit of scrap paper here for what I'm about to do to protect my work surface. So I'll pop that there and just grab myself a piece of paper. Here we go. Now the first thing I'm going to do is, on my stable, I'm going to use Smoky Slate ink, which is exactly the same ink that I've used for my die cut here, and my blending brush, and just add a bit of ink to highlight those lovely wood grain textures that are in the die. See those just popping out now when I add a little bit of ink? Okay, there we go. So there's my stable complete. While I've got my Smoky Slate ink out, I'll also stamp my greeting for inside and the front of my card. So I'm going to do Joy and Peace for the front of my card. And I'll just pop that onto my scrap piece here, right at the top. There we go, Joy and Peace. And then for the inside of my card, I think I will do Oh Holy Night. Now, is it going to fit on this block? Possibly not. No, I need a bigger block. I don't have many blocks with me at the minute because they're all packed up ready for my classes tomorrow, but I do have this one, which is like the most useful block in the world, really. There we go. So I think that's all my stamping done. I'll put a little bit, while I've got my brush here, a little bit more smoky slate on the corners of this piece here. There we go. Just, you can't really tell, but it does soften it a little bit. Okay, I can put them aside. And I think what I will do now, while I've got my scrap paper here, is add some colour. So I've got Starry Sky, Night of Navy, and a bit of grey granite to create a monochromatic colour scheme for my card for you. Recently I did a colour challenge that included these colours, and this was one of the projects I did. So I've squeezed my ink pad and created a pool of ink in the lid of my ink pad. So just squeezed it together to create the pool of ink, and then with my aqua painter just adding a little bit of colour, water, and diluting the ink there. Now, because this is not watercolour paper, it doesn't blend as quickly as when you're using watercolour paper, but it does look pretty good anyway. Okay, now I might also add a little bit of this colour over here to the king, make him nice and pale. So I'm just wiping off a bit of extra there, a little bit extra depth there to the bottom half of his robes, and a little bit extra there. There we go. I do like just slowly building up shadows and depth of colour with ink and a brush. There you go. All right, now I think I'll use some grey granite. I'll clean off my brush, just squeeze it and clean it off there. And then squeeze it just to dilute a little bit more. All right, Joseph. There we are. A little bit for his headgear. I just want to make a distinction between the shoulder and the headgear there. Okay, and the shepherd can also wear this colour too. I know he's a shepherd because he's holding onto a staff. Well, that's what I'm presuming. And the king because he's holding onto a gift. There we go. Now, just want to add a bit more there, so it doesn't look quite so patchy. Okay. And perhaps a little bit for the base straw. All right, and a little bit of Night of Navy as well. Clean off my brush. Tiny bit of Night of Navy. Might need to dilute that a bit. Here we go. A bit of Night of Navy for this dude as well, for his headgear. There we go. I think I'm done. Nice and simple. Now you'll see it a little bit better when I take it off that background there, and I can see I've got one tiny little bit of die cutting. I just need to pierce out there. There we go. Done. All right. Now let's put... Now I think this time I might show you how you can change the length of your stable. You see in this one here, I've made the stable a little bit shorter compared to the height of the stable, so I just chopped him. Let's use this as a ruler so that I'm being very, very technical. There and there. And then with my seal, add adhesive to the bottom of my stable and just add the leg there. Maybe it would have been better if I'd done it behind, perhaps. Less obvious, hey? What do you reckon? There we go. Okay, so you have to come off. Put some seal on the front. And then stick that behind. There we are. And then on the back of my stable, I'm going to use our foam strips adhesives. Now these are great for when you're doing shaker cards. They come in a plastic bag like that, but they're really, really good and nice and strong when you've got long, skinny projects like this. So I'll just trim off a bit there. And it's good to trim it before you peel it off so you don't get any sticky stuff on your scissors. Alright, so then there's one. And two. And then one across the middle. And then I'll use snip a couple more for the roof. One there and one there. There we go. Any showing? There's a little bit showing just on the edge, so I do want to trim that bit off. You don't want white adhesive showing through. Okay, so there's our stable. And it'll sit really strongly because of the fantastic foam strips that make it sit really well. Okay, there we are. There's my stable. Okay, and then my nativity, I'm going to use these little guys. They're the best. They're fiddly, but they are the best. And pop them all over. Now, if you like my videos, remember to please comment and follow me. That helps me be able to reach you more often. It helps Facebook if I get lots of comments, and that way you'll see my videos more often. And follow my page. That also ensures that you get to see my videos whenever I post them, that you don't miss out, because I try my best to do projects that would interest you. So make sure you let me know. Okay, here's my group there. And a slightly shorter stable. Now that gives us a little bit of room for the greeting at the top. Now I'm just going to use my trimmer here and just trim off my greeting as close to the bottom as possible. Alright, so there's my join piece, and if I just stick this and this out of the way, put that on there, 1, 2, and then I can put that inside my card. There we go, Oh Holy Night. And then with the greeting here, just before I put it onto my project, I'm going to grab my scrap paper again, add some smoky slate with the blending brush around the edges to age it, oops, a little bit. Okay, I'm going for a distressed look. That was a bit more than I wanted to add. But I also need to add some smoky slate to each of the ends, because I'm going to curl it. Alright, so you can do this with your fingers, or you can use your bone folder. It works equally as well. Just help. And then add a little bit of adhesive right on the very end. Have I got some on there? Yes, I have. Now I do. Right on the very end. Roll, 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 roll that up. And the adhesive sticks. Okay, and a little bit of adhesive right on this end. And roll that up. There you are. So there's my vintage looking Joy and Peace banner to place at the top of my card. And because I've made my stable a little bit shorter this time, you get to see the trusses of the stable a bit better. Okay. Now, because I want to continue the rolling theme, I'm going to put in the center there, just using the outside edges of my mini dimensionals. Oops. One layer and a second layer over the top so that it really stands out. And then on each end, I'm just going to add a little mini glue dot because I want the bit in the middle to stand up higher. Okay, and one more mini glue dot. There we are. All right, so I can put that on there, and no matter how much of a workout my card gets, it will remain with that lovely bump in the middle because of the dimensionals. And then the last thing to add is a star. And I've got my die cut stars here using the Stars at Night dies, and I've used our online exclusive silver and gold adhesive paper, which makes these little things absolutely perfect. There we go. A star there, and I'll put a star inside as well. Just peeling the backing off my adhesive star, silver adhesive. There we go. Oh, Holy Night. And there you go. I've got two spare stars. There is my card featuring the Oh Holy Night bundle with the Night Divine dies, which has 8 pieces, including a stable, nativity, camel, donkey, cow, lamb, and some clouds. And I've made my stable slightly smaller, slightly shorter on this card. And then this one's even shorter. And then this one uses a different star out of the Stars at Night bundle. I hope you enjoyed that, and remember, please follow me and comment, make comments. That helps me get more coverage and allows me to share what you want me to see. And remember, this paper works really, really well for this card, and that is the stargazing paper. So it's not the actual Oh Holy Night paper, but it still works an absolute treat and looks really great. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye now.